Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today we are here for a little truth, justice, and way too many versions of Superman. But I am going to do my best to rank the Superman movies, so pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. All right, everybody, welcome back. Today is a video that you all have been asking for. Now, if you follow me, I do a lot of movie rankings, big lists, recommendations, 4K reviews, all that kind of stuff. But you might also know I am a big Superman fan. I have this hat that I've had on. I'm in my late 40s. I'm older. And I've had this hat for more than half of my life. As you can see, I love Superman. I love everything about him. A lot of people in their life gravitated to Batman. I hear a lot of people, particularly a lot of people under 40, they're all like, oh, I was into the gritty this, gritty that, you know, this grounded thing, all this kind of stuff. Well, that's partly age. Like, so you came up when that stuff started coming out, like early 2000s and things like that. I was already past it. So everybody has a bit different perspective, and that's okay. We're going to talk about why I'm ranking these where they are and all that kind of stuff. But I want to clear up one thing. We will not be ranking any Justice League movie, any version of Justice League in this list. Why? Because I don't consider them a Superman movie. It's a team-up movie. The same way, just because Superman's in it doesn't mean it's a Superman movie. It is a Justice League movie. It's a team-up. That would be like counting any of the Avengers movies in your Iron Man rankings, movie rankings, or any of the Avengers movies in your Captain America rankings or Thor rankings. It just doesn't make sense. They're part of that movie. It's not their movie. It's a team-up movie. So I keep seeing all the rankings. They have the Justice League movies in them. It's not a Superman movie. He's not even in the title. It's it's Justice League. They're all there. It's a team-up movie. So I toss those out right away. I don't put those in the rankings. We're focused on Superman. He's got to be the primary focus, built around him, and not the focus as a team-up. So no Justice League, either version, in this list. So I just wanted to clear that up. I love Superman. I'm going to do my best to rank these and explain why and give it justice. I got some notes up here because this is a hot button issue. But coming in at number 9, yes, I'm going to have 9 on this list, plus 1 that may be goated. So I'm going to start out at 1987's. This is one I saw in the movie theater for sure. Superman 4, Quest for Peace. And listen, this is a canon film, I believe, when they were like running out of money, all this stuff. Christopher Reeve returns as Superman. He was very partial to this script. It's not so super, though. The movie doesn't work on a lot of levels, and it is so bound by a budget that is super tight, and I think this is at a time when like the budget just kind of kept shrinking on them. They were having to reuse stuff, like they reused the same flying scene over and over. There is a lot of things. I mean, Christopher Reeve's still he's doing work as the charming Superman. He's great as Superman, Clark Kent. The budget on this thing is just, it kills everything. You have the whole kind of message to it of the arms race and all this kind of stuff. I'm just not a big fan of it. Kind of heaviness. It had a lot of ambition. It just doesn't hit for me. And as much as I love Christopher Reeve, Superman 4, Quest for Peace comes in at the bottom of my rankings. All right, and that brings us to number 8, which might be controversial for some of you out there to be this low, but to me, this movie just feels like a bunch of movie trailers cut together. It kind of ruined the tone of Superman that was built in Man of Steel. I'm talking about Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. And it doesn't matter which cut you're talking about. I really am only going to watch the ultimate cut. But, I mean, this thing in Man of Steel, even though it was kind of a bit moody and dark for my taste, we'll talk about it on here, don't worry. It still had some hopefulness to it. It still had, you saw the that kind of other side of Henry Cavill's Superman, the Clark Kent, the hopeful, the upbeat. It was in there. It didn't get a lot of time to explore it, but it was there. And then Batman vs Superman just takes a big dump on all of it. It tries to do too many things. You've got like the death of Superman story is going on in here. It's all raining, moody. You got to interject Batman. You got to interject Wonder Woman. You're going to interject other characters in here. Then you have Lex Luthor showing up in this thing, which was not good either. But it is so much going on. I remember seeing it at the theater and walking out and telling my friend, I'm like, that felt like a bunch of movie trailers cut together. And I still feel like that. Even like the longer version. I mean, you do get a cool intro. I like Batman, and maybe a hot take opinion here. I like Ben Affleck as Batman a lot more than a lot of people do. I think he's pretty good. I just think the problem is you look up there and you see Ben Affleck as Batman rather than just Batman. But I actually think he's good. I think he's really good. He's got to be up there. To me, he's definitely better than Clooney. He's better than Kilmer. He's better than Pattinson. He's in the conversation with Keaton and Bale. Depending on, now Bale had the benefit of being in better movies. So that was part of it. But this one's rough. I mean, you take all of the stuff that's happy about Superman and you just trash on it. You got exploding courtrooms. You've got, he's moody. He's rough. He's, dying. He's getting blamed for disasters. It just takes all the hopefulness away, just drains it all. And this is where you have doesn't matter how you feel about Snyder. Snyder's not a good writer overall. And part of what set Man of Steel apart is Nolan co-wrote that movie, and he was a hands-on producer during it. And so Snyder wasn't left to his devices as much. And while he has gorgeous visuals, usually he's a great visual storyteller, he lacks a lot of other things sometimes. And this movie just kind of smothers under its own weight of trying to do too many things, and it just feels like a frenetic bunch of trailers cut together. And I don't dig it. I don't dig it. I mean, it's entertaining, but it's gonna come in down here at number 8. Now at number 7, you got Richard Pryor fighting Superman, basically, with Superman 3 from 1983. I mean, maybe not really, but, as fantastic as Christopher Reeve remains in part 3, there's a cool, like, junkyard brawl battle between a sort of good Superman and a bad Superman. But Pryor's comedy is, like, out of place in this movie. Actually, if you stayed with Superman more in this movie, and you left out the Pryor stuff, in some way you just cut that whole thing out, did something else, it would be a lot better. I love that they kind of go back to Smallville in this movie. You've got Annette O'Toole in here playing his high school crush, Lana Lang. My daughter's named Lana. That's how much of a Superman fan I am, y'all. My daughter is named Lana. My son's middle name is Alexander for Lex Luthor. So that's how much of a Superman fan I am, if you want to really dig down on it. And the only reason his first name is Logan after Wolverine instead of Kal-El is because I lost that fight. So that is how big of a Superman fan I am. And so you get Annette O'Toole playing Lana Lang, and that's cool because later on in Smallville, she plays Martha Kent. And I just think it's cool, but there's like, Pryor's like this weird supercomputer villain. It's entertaining, but it's not great Superman. But it is fun enough to kind of nudge it above, because just the down nature of Batman vs. Superman and the frenetic incoherence of it. We're going to go with Superman 3 coming in at number 7. And here's where we're going to kind of get a little bit technical. Coming in at number 6 on the list is Superman 2, the theatrical cut. And so you've got, talk about interjecting the wrong kind of like slapstick comedy. You really had 2 directors on this film. There's a Donner cut. Spoiler, it's coming. But you get the Phantom Zone villains here. You get Terrence Stamp playing Zod, which is also cool because later he plays the voice of Jor-El in Smallville. Smallville was really good to legacy characters. Christopher Reeve was on Smallville. Margot Kidder. They were really good with that. But the tone is all over the place in this movie. When you got a director swap, that's going to happen. The slapstick, the magic memory loss kiss, the whole kneel before Zod becomes very iconic, all that kind of stuff. So I like it. I like the chaos that they bring, trying to adjust to Earth, all that kind of stuff. I just don't like how this director went about it. I would prefer just I don't know what they were doing there, but it lacks some of the stuff that I like, the sensibilities of Donner. So that, spoiler alert, that one's coming in higher. But coming in at number 6 is Superman 2, the theatrical cut. And coming in at number 5 is 2006's Superman Returns. I have a theory about this movie. This is kind of like the silent Superman. It's kind of the one that everybody forgets about somewhat. I think that this one suffered from the fact that Smallville, at the time, was on TV. It was going into its like 5th season out of 10. So it's like right in the meat of it, right? It is like right in the prime time of everybody tuning in. It was one of the top like 5 or 10 television shows on TV. And it was like right in the time when everybody's tuning in every week for years, watching Tom Welling be Clark Kent becoming Superman. And then you just try to throw this Superman out as a legacy, sequel where you tie it back to the original 2 films, and you've got 2 different Supermans going on in people's mind, and I think that hurt the film. I think part of that hurt the film. Bryan Singer has a great nostalgic tone. I think that Brandon Routh, I felt like he always was picked because he looked so much like Christopher Reeve, which is understandable. He gets a lot of the visuals from the Donner era right. The plane rescue scene is iconic, but it has very limited action in it. It's pretty emotionally heavy. The whole idea of a kid between him and Lois, I'm not so sure about that right there at that point. So there's still some really good things in it. Statistically, it's still the safest way to travel. And I think that it had potential. I think it hit at the wrong time, and people were getting into like the dark, you had Batman Begins coming out, so they were getting into the Nolan, like dark, gritty. And Batman, I'm going to talk about this later, but Batman is fine to be dark and gritty. He's Batman. That's what he is. He's grimy. It's Gotham City, everything else. Superman's supposed to be bright, cheerful, full of hope, those kind of things. Smallville is supposed to be bright, beautiful, all this kind of stuff. So we'll get to that. But Superman Returns hits a lot of those notes, but it just kind of, it's a whimper. And people just kind of forget about it. I think there was too much going against it. And but I don't think it's as bad as people remember it. But Superman Returns from 2006 comes in at number 5. Now, coming in at number 4 is where we maybe start to get controversial, because I have Superman 2, the Donner cut right here. This is mostly what could have been version of this movie. There's not a ton changed. You can see the stuff that was changed. It had to be cobbled together from like archival footage. You know, all this kind of other stuff they had laying around, because I think this cut came out in like around 2006 too. I can't remember when this cut came out for sure. I might be totally off on that. But it leans more into the emotional side, more mythic. It gives you, you get Marlon Brando back, which take that as you will. I'm not the biggest Brando fan, and not the biggest Brando fan as Jor-El. But it brings him back in the picture. That's kind of cool. It's still uneven because it's two movies kind of cut together. But as a Superman story, to me, the Donner cut is clearer. So it has a little bit more soul in it, I guess is the best way to discuss it, than the theatrical cut does. So I'm trying to think if there is... I think they even use like some screen tests, like some different kind of stuff like that to kind of put into the movie. So it has a bit of a disjointed kind of feeling to it because of that. It still has more of the original plan there that Donner had. I'm a big Donner fan. If you want to check out my list of my favorite directors, he's in my top 15 directors of all time. So I'm a big Donner fan. But you can kind of see what was in there, and that kicks it up above the theatrical cut to me. So, but not it just can't climb to the heights of the stuff that's coming ahead of it because of those things that are holding it back there. So the Donner cut for me comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Superman 2025. James Gunn's Superman. I know it's new, not everyone's seen it. I'm going to try to keep spoilers out of this for the most part. There might be something light at this point. By the time you see this, the movie will have been out about a week. It hits some good tones. I like David Cornsweet a lot. I think he has the chance to move way up in the pantheon of Superman, people to play Superman. I also don't think that's a coincidence that as a big Smallville fan, he's a big Smallville fan. To him, his Superman, he said it in interviews, is Tom Welling. And he very much modeled himself after that. I also think that this may be controversial, but maybe has the second best live action Lex Luthor portrayal. Yes, even over Gene Hackman and Kevin Spacey, but not over Michael Rosenbaum in Smallville. He earns he's got the crown there, and it ain't close. But this may have... Nicholas Hoult may have jumped up, but guess what? He's also a Rosenbaum guy. He was actually on Rosenbaum's show talking about it. Like, so these guys studied those guys. It comes out. They have some good sensibilities there. One thing that knocks it down for me is it's a team-up movie. Like, it's not officially, it's Superman. So it's on this list, same as Batman versus Superman. It's not, so it's on this list. But you rush to get him in the suit. You rush to have this team up. So it takes away from us getting to be Superman, getting to know Superman. Because you've got the Justice Gang Society, whatever you want to call them. But it's too much going on in the movie. There are some things that I don't like. It's not really a spoiler because they put it up on the card at the very beginning of the movie. You have to be there immediately. I don't like that they say that everybody on Earth has known about metahumans, superhumans for 300 years. Right away, I don't like that because Action Comics #1, Superman is the guy, right? You need to at least give him that moment. Like, he's part of... Why would it be a big deal for people of Earth to know him if they've been around superhumans for 300 years? So, like, you take away so much of the foundations of what Superman is by saying, oh, everybody knows about all this already, so don't pay attention to it. Everybody knows about it already. Well, then he's not special anymore. He was the first, right? He was the first. And announcing that to the world is so big, and you just cut the legs out from under that right there from the beginning. I don't care about comics that came later that might have done some kind of offshoot or whatever. You are introducing a new generation of kids and people to Superman. And I think there's a disconnect right here. Because so many people, we've seen the origin story. Everybody knows the origin story. No, they don't. You're bringing your bias into it. You're just figuring, oh, because I know and because these other movies have been around, that everybody knows. There are major reviewers that have never seen the originals till now. So, like, you just accept the fact that you think you know this about Superman, but imagine you are trying to get 8 to 18-year-olds to follow, for this to be their Superman. They need to see him become Superman. They need to see him become Superman. And to be their Superman for the next 50 years of their life. They need to see that. That is part of the reason why Donner's is held up. So he spent 3/4 of the movie making him Superman. And so you got to see him for generations of kids, people. That was their Superman. They saw him become Superman and get the suit, earn the suit, and become their Superman. Not just be told he is your Superman. That's the difference. So you need that, I think. I'm a fan of how Man of Steel did that for the most part. If you said, Chase, you make the movie, he wouldn't get this. It'd be very Donner-like. He wouldn't get the suit till towards the end. And that would probably launch part 2 of the series. As this movie is, you take away his legacy of being the first like big hero that the world has known. You chop that out. Then you chop out him being super, because you just tell everybody he got his ass kicked. And we've not even seen him win a fight yet. We don't even know who he is. We just see a guy laying in a suit, and he's already lost to us. So he's already been knocked down pegs. He spends a lot of the movie having to be saved by other people instead of saving people. That's anti-Superman. So those are the things I don't like. And the CGI is not good. If you go back to Man of Steel, which is 12 years older, the CGI is light years better. The CGI in a lot of cases, and the flying and stuff in Smallville, which is even older in a TV show, is better. There is some really bad CGI. But you also have a problem of James Gunn, too many jokes, too much distraction from what could be great moments going on. It's kind of very frenetic. He's trying to make movies for people that have 10-second TikTok reel attention spans, and that doesn't work. But there's a lot that I like. I like the hopefulness. I like the brightness, the color. It's a bridge too far on, like, you start out the movie, you've got this giant alien like robot thing destroying Metropolis. The next day you have this glowing tentacle monster out there trying to destroy Metropolis in the background while Superman's having a serious discussion. The next day, you've got this huge kaiju in there trying to destroy Metropolis. The next day, you have time-space continuum, dimensional rift opening up to destroy Metropolis. It's too much. Like, it's too much. You got to have somewhere between being too grounded and too ridiculous is the right tone, and we're going to talk about that. But I don't want it to sound like I don't like the movie, because I had fun with the movie. It just it hurt because it could have been so much more. I don't like the portrayal as country bumpkin, stupid mom, pa, Kent, and everything else yelling in their phone, calling the TV the idiot box, and all that kind of stuff. No. It also, I keep hearing, well, Superman's just young. He's learning his way. He's supposed to be 30 in the movie. He's not a kid. He's 30. Like, he's been Superman. He's been Superman to the public for 3 years, and he's been learning his powers his whole life. So he's 30, y'all. He's not a kid. So that part kind of doesn't work for me with the excuse, but I enjoy the movie. I think Cornsweat has a lot of potential to go. You're going to have to really kind of hold your breath for the next movies, but I did enjoy the movie overall. It just skips out on too many things. No reverence for growing up, learning, becoming Superman, none of that. So that kicks it down when I'm splitting hairs to number 2, which is The Man of Steel. Now, rewatching this, more lately, I appreciate it more. This is considered Zack Snyder's Man of Steel because he directed it. But as I said, this is Nolan's fingerprints all. And why is it so different from the other Snyder stuff? Why does it stick out as better overall? Because of Christopher Nolan. And with that good comes bad. Christopher Nolan, I mean, I get that this movie's divisive, whatever. I'll tell you my problems that I had with it that kept me off of it for a long time. Right out of the gate, this had a chance to be number one overall for me, believe it or not, for movies. Number one. But there's a couple things that I just can't get past to make it number one. And one of those is Jonathan Kent telling Clark that he maybe should have let a busload of kids die to protect his secret. Jonathan Kent would never do that. I don't care what kind of explanations you want to give into. He's salt of the earth, straight arrow. He would never do that. It flies in the face of everything he is. And to speak of that, the tornado scene. A lot of people have problems with this. I have a problem with this too. The problem is it takes away a massive foundation of what Superman is and a lesson that he must learn. The reason Jonathan Kent dies of a heart attack is so that Superman can learn that no matter how strong he is not God. He is not a God among men. He cannot save everyone. This is foundational to everything Superman is. And you take that away. Superman would never take that away to protect himself, and so it is at direct odds for everything that Superman is. Now, I got no problem with you taking things with characters one way or the other and all that stuff, but foundational things that are super important are very important. And that is one that would that's a lesson he must learn, because the earth is afraid of him being like a god. He's got to learn right away he's not, that he is not. And so all of the other lessons he learned growing up from Jonathan Kent would have been sufficient for all that stuff. So that would have those two things, and then snapping Zod's neck. You've got Batman and Superman. They're two sides of the same coin. Batman will kill people when he needs to. He tries not to, but he will. Superman doesn't. He's not going to cross that line. And especially in the first movie out, I get that you're trying to say that you backed him in the corner, but let's be honest. If he's got the strength to hold him and snap his neck, he had the strength to throw him off to the left and keep him from melting those people with his laser vision. He didn't have to snap his neck right there. I can understand it. I feel like you needed to let Superman, like that's more of like a second or third movie kind of thing, not the first movie out, and take away a lot of that. So I can get it though, but it's those three things combined. And then one other thing is the tone. You had Nolan doing his thing and Snyder, so everything is moody. Like, I keep hearing people say I like the grounded, grittier. You can be grounded and not have everything have the color desaturated, gray, cold, bleak looking. Like, it takes away the hopefulness, the cheerfulness. Like, Smallville did this great. When they were in Smallville, it was beautiful, bright colors, everything else. When he was dealing with something bad, it was dark and gray and moody. Like, perfect how you would do that. Comic book, just like in a comic book. That's how you establish tone. But when the whole thing is just moody looking across there, color really affects a movie. Like, super affects how you feel, even when you don't realize it. So when he's thinking of his memories from Smallville, that should be bright and beautiful and hopeful, colors. But he basically, Nolan was in the Batman zone, and they just said, look, everything we're doing with Batman, we're going to slap paste it over the top of Superman. And that doesn't work. They are two opposite ends of the spectrum characters. It doesn't work for both. But listen, I'm saying all this, and if not for those few little things, now the one thing is big foundational to me with Jonathan Kent and stuff, but outside of that, it really could challenge me, the Superman fan of a life. And listen, y'all, I got comic books going way back. Like I'm telling you, my daughter's name's Lana. Logan's middle name is Alexander for Lex Luthor. I am a Superman fan. And Man of Steel could have beaten my number one movie if not for those things. I think it's that good. But those things I just can't, because they got the beautiful imagery of him being a metaphor for a Christ-like figure. No matter how you feel about that, they purposely did that in there. He's always been that, the one son sent to save humanity and give hope and all that kind of stuff. It's there. But he goes into the church to ask for basically faith and guidance. You've got Jesus on stained glass over his shoulder on a window. It cuts to the preacher. He's got the cross and Christ sacrificed over his shoulder or whatever. He's 33 in the movie, the same age that Jesus was supposed to have been. All these kind of things was all in there. Very powerful storytelling. He falls out of the ship there's so much there, right? I get so much stuff right. I love how they give reference to Smallville. They go back, they show him kind of like the TV show Smallville, where he has to learn his powers and his parents are having to help him with his powers. Phenomenal. The best Jor-El, period. Russell Crowe, best Jor-El, period. I'll hear nothing about it. The best Jor-El, period. Is Russell Crowe. And all that, just fantastic. I like Amy Adams as Lois Lane. I don't really like kind of how they got the timeline in there, but I'm okay with you tweaking some things, okay? But though it's just those little things that still keep it, because I'm so sentimental too for my number one, that you have to be, you can't get any of the missteps and take it out. But I love the movie, and I love it the more I watch it. But it's just those things. It's like, man, come on. But so Man of Steel comes in at number 2. Leaving number 1 movie of all time is Richard Donner's Superman, the movie from 1978. Now, I was a bit young to see this at the theater. I didn't see this till it came out on VHS. But it's pure cinematic magic. It taught us to believe a man could fly. I mean, it really did. Christopher Reeve, legendary. John Williams' score, iconic as you can get. It's heartfelt. It's unafraid of being earnest and hopeful in ways that most modern movies will not do it. Sure, it's a little dated if you're watching it now for the first time. I mean, it is, if you don't tear up when Jonathan Kent dies, see the lessons, it spends all that time before you even get to like Superman, of him becoming Superman. And everybody's like, I don't need another origin story. But then you have this movie and Man of Steel. All those people that say that, it's their top 2 films. And it's like, yeah, you do, because that's what made him Superman to your generation, to you. Again, is that connection and seeing it. So it's more important. You can do it creative ways. Flashback. Man of Steel was very good how they did it. You can do it all kinds of ways, but it needs to be there so that you see Superman become Superman for the next generation instead of just being told that he's Superman. It doesn't have the same kind of feel to it. There's nothing else that you can say about the original movie. It's an absolute icon. But is it the best Superman thing made of all time? No, I don't think so. Look, it's not a movie. I'm not putting other stuff on here on the official list, but Smallville deserves its own pedestal. And for 10 seasons, 10 years, like 250-ish episodes, we saw a comic book come to life. We saw Clark Kent stumble, fall, become Superman by the end. Listen, y'all, the outfit doesn't make him Superman. If you haven't learned that by being a Superman fan, you're not a Superman fan. The outfit is nothing. It's just a symbol. That's it. Everything that he learns, everything he does, the choices he makes, that's what makes him Superman. And you get to see all that. You get to see him learn those things. You get to see the powers come on, him having to deal with it, his parents helping him deal with that, and all that kind of stuff. So it strikes that grounded tone of the Nolan Snyder Superman, and then it strikes the hopeful, upbeat tone of Donner's Superman. It combines them both. And honestly, I feel like if you could had they combined Snyder, Nolan, Man of Steel with James Gunn's Superman, the best things from both, and not been afraid to drop in a little bit of that Donner, you'd have the perfect movie. Perfect movie. But Smallville had 10 years to combine those things. So they had the grounded nature of what would become Snyder Nolan's Man of Steel. Because Clark goes dark, Clark goes gritty, and all this stuff, but it also comes back to grounded in that hopefulness. Back and forth. You see the push and pull, and the greatest Lex of all time, Michael Rosenbaum, whenever he's on screen and you're at Luthor Corp, or you're at the Luthor Mansion, or you're in Metropolis, it's gray. It's cold. We know we're in trouble there. The hopefulness has to be brought to the city. It has to be brought to the people. Because when we're back home in Smallville, it's beautiful, bright colors. All that hopeful cheerfulness is there. He is in Smallville. He's got to bring it to the rest of the world. It's just great color foreshadowing. It's like a comic book. And yes, they had an unfair advantage of 10 years to do it. But the best portrayal of Superman overall, of Clark Kent into becoming Superman, is unquestionably, as Clark Kent alone before he becomes Superman, it's Tom Welling. It beats Christopher Reeve. As Superman, he got one episode as with the suit on. He's always Superman, but he got the one episode. But it has so many things done right because it had the time to do them, and it kind of deserves its own place up there. And if you haven't watched it, it is the highest of recommends. It is the highest of recommends. The acting, the writing is something that we do not get in movies anymore about superheroes. We do not. And the final episode, if that doesn't hit you, you talk about earning the suit. It made a generation. I mean, for 10 years, it made generations of people beg to see him as that. Like, that's what you want. That's what you want, not just be told that something is that because they've got a costume on. But I feel like it deserves a mention all it's on. I feel like people need to get it and check it out. If they haven't seen it, is the highest of high recommends. David Cornsweet said Tom Welling is his Superman, the best Superman. So there you go. And Nicholas Hoult said Michael Rosenbaum, his Lex Luthor. There you go. I'm not ranking Supermans right now, but the way he played it back and forth, Clark Kent, young Clark Kent, up to Superman, everything else, you'll find hard-pressed to find better performance than Tom Welling's overall. But again, he had a lot of time to do it, so there is that. But that's what I got for you. I love Superman. There are no right or wrong answers. You can love what you love. This is just one to hear from me. I'm that big of a Superman fan, and I hope to see James Gunn. I hope he does it right. I hope we don't lose the tone in the next movie. I fingers crossed on it all. I'm a positive person, but I enjoyed this. Please, y'all, have some fun talking about it. Don't get too upset or anything like that. It is just for fun. but it is definitely how I feel. And if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It helps out the channel. You can join at my Patreon below. Help support the channel, get your name and lights on every video, all that kind of stuff, and be super cool by doing it. But until next time, stay heroic, stay hopeful, and remember, even the darkest night can be lit by a single S on your chest. Be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. I know.